Oof. Arm is not happy with holding his control of that line for some reason. No, we're not low. Yep. Alright, one last friend. Friend. Part of you has always been taken with the idea of purchasing a one-way train ticket to anywhere and boarding it without looking back. Or, in your current case, stowing away without looking back. Details. The idea had always seemed so idyllic. No strings, no obligations, just you and your journey, the wind in your hair and the taste of freedom on your lips. Your little daydream didn't exactly involve careening across a perilous extraterrestrial landscape, but then you've always liked to think of yourself as the kind of person who's open to new experiences. Not to mention new friends. In practice, though, this tastes less like freedom and more like noxious muck, which is what you're currently surrounded by. It's not unlike the slime that was in Skilla's Recuperacoon, except that slime was weirdly soothing, and this is prickly and burny and uncomfortable. You'd thought you were being smart by sneaking on board, jumping into some sort of cargo carriage. Oh, how wrong you'd been. The trade-off for not being caught, then maimed and or killed for your blood color is apparently this. You almost would have preferred the maiming. God knows you're used to taking a beating by now. Alright. Chahut, Maenad. Chahut. Your gown flutters around you as you hop off the train. You feel like a very grimy Disney princess with no shoes. Just a deranged Cinderella who left both glass slippers on the castle steps. Before you can decide in which direction to continue your merry jaunt, it's decided for you. As in, a small bluish missile slams into your midsection and sends you tumbling down the hill behind the train tracks, rolling over, and goddamn you hope you don't kill anyone with your ass, especially not yourself. You land with a hard thwack on your back. Hey, it is you! Isha. The concussion you've just sustained must be giving you serious friend hallucinations. Sorry, I hugged you so hard I pushed you down a hill. I forgot how weak and flimsy you are. You take Amisha's offered hand, albeit nervously. You kinda skipped out on her back there, waiting until she was in the ablution trap and then escaping from her murder studio. You've been so naive back then. You didn't know about Recuperacoons or grub cakes or hate dating or, oh god, that is a giant murder clown, isn't it? Wow. She's even bigger than the adult you saw at the bandit lair. God, why? Why, whenever you think you've met the biggest, meanest bastard this place has to offer, it offers up another, bigger, meaner one. Without thinking, you put yourself between Amisha and the purple blood. It's pretty dumb considering Amisha can pick you up with one hand, but you just rolled down a hill and you aren't at peak performance. Chahut! It's about time! This is the one I was telling you about. The one with the precious, precious blood! The purple blood's slow, lazy smile somehow makes her face paint even more terrifying. She moseyed closer, towering over you. A true pleasure, small thing. Any friend of Little Blue is a friend of mine. Especially one who looks so pretty on the newest page of my scrapbook. Your stomach is dissolving into acid fear. Amisha stamps her foot. Don't make murder jokes. My friend is very delicate. You nod furiously. You are so delicate. Just a whiff of murder gives you the vapors. Peace and gospel, Little Blue. I was only playing. Messiahs know I'm owed a bit of fun. And ain't it a fair bit hypocritical? Lecturing me? Considering what you were getting up to the first time you and I got a job? Ripping off heads and all? Amisha goes blue. Chahut winks and you experience another spasm of fear. You clench your fists so she can't see your hands are shaking. To distract yourself, you ask her if she and Amisha are mortals. You figure that's always the safest one to start with. Safer than, so do you guys hate fuck a lot? Chahut starts grinning again, and Amisha blushes even harder. Oh, silly, of course not. I'm way too young for quadrants. Know a couple motherfuckers that started younger than you, Little Blue. Well, there's no point. I mean, you're leaving in a couple paragraphs. Amisha stares at the ground sadly for a few seconds before she gets herself back together. That's why tonight's gonna be the best.
Our final hunt. I'm so glad you're here too.
She beams up at you. You try to smile back, maybe achieving half a grimace. When Chahut leans over Amisha, it's with a certain menacing fondness. Sounds like a party, my most vicious sister. Only, we got us a smidge of a scheduling conflict.
Huh?
The massacre's tonight, Little Blue. Last massacre I'll see planetside. Gotta present my glutes and testify before my most mirthful messiahs for the last time. You sure didn't get any of that. Every time you think your days of unbounded ignorance are behind you, you turn over a stone to find more little squirming bits of cultural miasma to suck in. Amisha rolls her eyes.
More church. That's seriously all you ever do.
Sister, we talked about this. To praise the mirthful ones is a privilege and a revelation. My pusher beats for them. It smashes its way through the desolate cage of my thoracic struts.
Yeah, I know. You love clown church. You love it so much you should just put it in the quadrant.
Jesus, Amisha. Maybe don't shout at the scary giant clown lady. Chahut puts a giant hand on Amisha's head, ruffling her hair like she's an angry puppy. Simmer it down, girl. Good news is, we got us a tiebreaker. She means you, doesn't she? More decisions? Usually we strive for it, but today, it's all up to you, stranger. Take me to clown church. You don't know much about religion, but you have recently become pretty good at reading people. You have the slightest little suspicion that insulting this woman's religion might be unhealthy. Besides, it would be rude. This time, when Chahut turns her painted face to you and gives you another of those lazy smiles, you're filled with a sudden flush of excitement. God, what if you could become friends with her? You've never had a friend this cool or this scary. Amisha rolls her eyes.
Fine. Have fun, I guess. Doing totally boring stuff.
You wonder if it's really okay for you to come with Chahut. Isn't she worried about showing up with an alien? In the past, I might have got to worrying over it. But now, fuck it. What are they about to do? Call me? Haha. Might thank him for that. Doing a sister a solid and save me from having to set foot in the filthy reaches of space. Where I hear they don't follow the good word as close as they should. None of the motherfuckers here have the globes to step up to me. So you should be safe. With me on your side, not even one of those slippery fishes would do shit. Slippery fishes? Does she mean sea dwellers? You've never actually seen one, which makes sense since they dwell in the sea, but most people seem to be scared of them. You wonder how much higher in caste they are from the clowns. You wonder what they look like. There's still so many things you don't know. You've never been in a church before, but you've seen them in movies and goth music videos, so you know what to expect. Clown church is not that. There's no pews, or statues, or sad dude hanging from two perpendicular sticks, but there's an altar, and a lot of purple candles, and rows of flimsy metal fold-out chairs. The same sugary smell that hangs around Chahut fills the place. Someone took stained glass a little too seriously when they decorated, because every inch of window is covered in multicolored... God, why even front anymore? Every inch is covered in blood. Spatters of it paint the floor and stone walls. It reminds you of that break room after Conyal got done murdering all those kids, except this seems deliberate. Like they decided they want a little bit of yellow in the corner, so they walked some poor gold blood over and gutted them. Look into your salvation, little one. You almost run out, but no, you can't. You need to make friends with Chad. You hang on to that as you follow her to the front of the congregation. As you pass, various other clowns send out honks of greeting, accompanied by the occasional whoop whoop. Chahut responds to a couple with a casual, "Hey motherfuckers," but most she ignores. Maybe she's too cool for them? You try not to make eye contact with anyone as you go by, or, if you happen to look at anyone, you try to throw out the most intense "I'm with her" vibes that you can. A couple trolls look as out of place as you do. Okay, not as out of place, since they are actually from this planet, but there's some non-purple guys here who look distinctly uncomfortable. A few of them appear to be chained to their chairs. Cool. A purple blood is standing on a platform at the front of the congregation and preaching, rapping. Whatever it is, it sucks. There's a lot of uninventive swearing and weirdly syncopated honks. Everyone here is extremely into it. There's a lot of answering whoops and fuck yes. All Chahut has to do is stand there and smirk at him, and he trails off into a nasally honk before scrambling off the church stage. You really wish you knew how to command that kind of respect. Then everybody would want to be your friend. It's not how dominant hierarchies work. Thanks, brothers and sisters. Today is a singular sort of day. For today I looked up toward the mountain and saw the fire in the sky. That fire is our messiahs, and our messiahs are the fire, feeding a hungry forge in the belly of hell. That sweet salvation, split bones, sulfur-colored eyes. Was it the heat of eternal damnation, or the sweet flame of revelation? All is red ruin. Woe is us, darlings. Woe. It goes on like that for a while. You zone out a little bit. Someone throws a handful of powder into the candle flames, and more of that sugary sharp scent puffs out as colorful smoke billows up. The purple bloods all taking deep whiffs of the stuff. It kind of looks like the powder in pixie sticks. Newest member of our congregation. Pixie sticks. Maybe that's why it smells like sugar in here. Invite them to stand up and give glorious thanks. The whole congregation has gone silent. You realize that Chahut is looking at you, and the other clown priest is looking at you. Actually, every single goddamn troll in here is looking at you. Except for one small dude, who appears to be trying to chew off his own hand to free himself from his shackle. Your turn to testify. Don't fuck this up, little one. Don't fuck this up, little one. Let's breach. Let's breach! Oh. Oh shit. They want you to talk? About what? All that stuff Chahut and the other troll were saying, it just sounded like a bunch of bullshit. So that's what you're given. Just bullshit. Reams and reams of fresh, non-GMO, cave-aged bullshit. Honestly, you aren't totally sure what you say. Maybe some stuff about parting the sea, loaves and fishes, a dome and a rock. You throw a couple whoops in there for effect, hoping nobody accuses you of cultural appropriation. Luckily, the crowd is feeling it. They all honk and echo what you say, even the cultural allusions that they can't possibly understand. They take turns swigging Fago from the communal chalice, passing it around. You can't help glancing over at Chahut every so often. Sure, all these weirdos are catching what you're throwing. She's the one whose opinion you actually care about. She's your current friendship target. She's nodding in approval, occasionally crossing her hands over her chest in what looks like some kind of gang symbol, but it may just be a religious gesture. You finish with something about foxes in the jaws of the universe, the convergence of fate and the cyclical nature of reality. Time is a flat circle. You think you're actually filled with the spirit? Whatever the fuck that means. It could just be that weird smoke. Knew I didn't make a mistake when I put my faith in you, little one. She pushes several dudes out of the way to lean over you, and you don't feel fear now so much as intense pride. Damn, but it feels good to have 50 clowns honking at you for pulling something straight out of your ass. Little one is kind of creepy, and you wish you'd stop saying it. You guess it's accurate? You are little compared to her, and there is only one of you. Here, darling. Oh, that's an upgrade. Darling, that's friendly. Get up here. Up? How? Two younger purple bloods grab you by the legs. Oh. The church sways around you, and you find yourself at clown height, face to face with Chahut. Up close, you can see the cracks in her makeup, and it might be the light in here, but her yellow eyes look tinted purple. She pulls you close, one giant claw tipping your chin up. She's so close. She leans in, and your whole body flashes hot. Oh god, this... You brace for those big clown lips. Instead, Chahut clamps her hand over your mouth. You jerk as your air supply is promptly cut off. The clowns holding you up stagger until you remember you can breathe through your nose. You see something out of your peripheral vision, and then something sticky and cold is sprayed onto your cheek, an acrid stench making you choke. You struggle, but the clowns don't let you go. Chahut sprays something on the other side of your face, You feel it sinking, tacky, and stinging into the skin of your cheeks. She releases you for a moment and switches the can of spray paint to your other hand. What the hell? Is that even supposed to be used on skin? Probably not. Hold still, darling. She takes another can from a nearby troll and paints a line across your forehead, her own brow furrowing in concentration. You know what she's doing. She's baptizing you. Covering you in the paint of her people. You are being initiated. You can hardly believe it. Tears threaten at the corner of your eyes as you realize you're actually becoming part of a group. Someone on this terrible planet is actually letting you into their inner circle. Even if it is a circle of shitty clowns who go around murdering people and drinking the worst soda in the galaxy. Don't get too overcome now, small thing. I don't rightly even know what you are or where something like you came from, but I can feel the spirit flowing through those alien veins of yours. It's fucking godly, my little one. Amazing, this is so good. Anyone who initiates you into their weird cult definitely wants to get all up in your friendship groove. Chahut paints another line, this time over your nose. The paint is starting to sting. The paint on your forehead, especially. Oh wait, that's not paint. That's... Chahut drops the spray can. She's looking at her fingers. Oh no, you've seen that expression before, and some bluer and much shorter. Deep crimson drips off her claw. After weeks of rainbow blood, your own blood color looks strange to you. Now that you think about it, it's been a while since you've seen your own blood. Haha, wild! You must be getting better survival instincts. Precious blood. Precious indeed, sister. The two other purple bloods put you down with subservient honks. All of the other clowns here treat Chahut with a reverence bordering on awe. Is it because she's the oldest? Or the largest? Or maybe just the most badass? Your feet barely hit the floor before Chahut takes you by the hand. You smile up at her, happy to go anywhere she leads. Friendship feels so good, especially with people who are bigger and stronger and cooler than you are. Which is basically everyone on this planet, but Chahut is especially strong and cool. You're so busy feeling great about your new elite status that at first you don't realize what's happening, where Chahut is leading you. It's to a corner of the church that is a little more bare than other spots. As in, there isn't as much blood. As in, it's the perfect canvas for some fresh blood. Some precious, precious mutant blood. You don't know why Chahut didn't go for you right when you met. Maybe the time wasn't right. Maybe the sight of your red stuff has triggered something in her murder troll hindbrain. Regardless, you get the feeling you're about to be reunited with the color of your blood, quite suddenly and thoroughly. Wait, you thought you were getting initiated. Hell yeah. You're an initiate, my dazzling crimson darling. An initiate of the rarest and most laudable power. A blood initiate. A sacrificial vow beast. You ain't gonna get a better offer than that. Well, when she puts it like that, no, you would rather not die. Game over. Oh my. Huh. Alright. Let's try that further. Okay. Friends. Alright. Clown Church sucks. Religion stuff is kind of over your head. Besides, you really should stick with a friend who has a vested interest in keeping you alive, rather than the menacingly non-committal clown lady. All of your recent experiences with Purple Bloods have been, well, bad.
You're so right. See, Chahut? My friend is no dummy.
Chahut's eyes gleam, and for one eerie moment, you think she's just going to reach down and crush Amisha's skull, or yank out her windpipe, or do some other make of violence. But instead, she just shrugs her giant shoulders. Well, that's what happens when you allow for the democratic process. Lead the way. Crap, that's right. If you aren't going to church, you're going on a final hunt. And knowing Amisha, you aren't going to be duck hunting. Also, you don't think the splatters on Chahut's pants are paint. Well, They are paint, but amnesia-style paint.
Yay, come on, quick! I got something to show you.
She takes off up the steep hill back toward the train tracks. Oh man, you are seriously not dressed for all this clambering. Chahut appears to notice this too, because a few steps later, your feet leave the ground and you find yourself cradled to the considerable bosom of a large clown. Up close, she smells like sugar and blood. No struggling now, sweet thing. Better pray that I don't drop you. Oh, I forgot. You don't pray. Because church sucks. You don't like this. Well, you like not having to walk, and it's pretty cool that she can lift you like you're a tiny baby, but also, you're probably going to die. You are so busy freaking the fuck out that at first you don't realize that Chahut has carried you past the train tracks to a stand of trees. Oh. Oh no. Ta-da! Amnesia gestures like she's a presenter on a game show, but instead of showing you a dope new car, she points to a boy hanging from a rope by his feet, swinging back and forth as he desperately tries to free himself.
Chahut, you were so right! Using traps is a total time saver.
All about those life hacks. And other kinds of hacks. Haha. She lifts her axe. The troll hanging from the tree screams, and that scream becomes a gurgle, which becomes ringing silence as his head leaves his body, spewing brown blood. It rolls to stop right at your feet. Oh god. You've had enough of this horse shit. Why can't anybody on this goddamn planet find an ounce of chill? Amnesia and Chahut watch you expectantly. What, do they want you to kick the head like this is the sports? Give it a smooch? You know what? Fuck this. You turn and stalk off into the woods. This time you are orchestrating your own failure. So done. Alright. No! No! Alright. Come on. We gotta get the hang of that menu. Friends. Alright, let's wimp out. You stand there in the cacophony of honks and whoops, trying to dredge up a little spirit inside you, but you just can't. All that noise sounds so much like jeering, and you'd think you'd have gotten used to negative reinforcement, but apparently it's still enough to trip you up. You open your mouth, and all that comes out is a croak, like you're a frog. Frog of failure. Chahut's big hand lands on your shoulder. She looks wistful through the crown paint. That's okay, hon. Sit down before you strain something. Encased in a fugue of shame, you do. God, why couldn't you have kept it together for once in your pathetic life? The clown next to you gives you a consoling pat on the knee and offers you a half-empty bottle of Faygo. You're so despondent that you barely cast a thought to Juggalo germs, or the fact that Faygo is disgusting. It hits your taste buds like a bitch slap. Around you, the congregation is getting rowdier. The troll beside you shrugs his shoulders like, what can you do? He has a hat and a charming smile. At least, you think he does. You're starting to feel a little weird. Faygo isn't alcoholic, is it? I would go easy on that stuff if I were you, the troll says. His hand hasn't left your leg. In fact, it's moved from your knee to your thigh. First time's always rough. Whatever. You're fine. You know all about controlled substances. You're really good at drugs, okay? You're a serious drugger. Druggist? For real though, what is in this stuff? You got high with Sirava and tipsy with Chixie. Huh, that rhymes. You should put that in your next rap. But this is different. This is your brain blowing wide open, the atmosphere pouring in. This is the cosmos kissing the frontal lobe with way too much tongue. Hey, this is my supplicant. Maybe find your own. Chahut is standing next to you again. She removes the clown guy's hand from your thigh and extricates the bottle from your grip. Hey, you weren't done with that. On the other side of the church, someone throws another handful of colorful powder onto the fire. More smoke billows up, and you feel another wave of dizziness. Maybe it's the interaction of the Fago and the smoke? Is that how science works? Such bad form, says the troll who give me a Fago. Bringing an alien to your last massacre? One would think you had no respect for your messiahs at all. I think, brothers and sisters, that I might agree with that. A voice rings out across the church. At first, you think it's in your head, the product of whatever weird soup all the competing substances have created, but everybody else hears it too. Chahut goes rigid beside you, her big vicious mouth stretched into an O of shock. The congregation falls to its knees in a clattering wave. Seriously, you've never heard a crowd of people go quiet so loudly. Chairs are kicked out of the way or knocked over. Kneeling down, Chahut's head comes up to your chest. She and the clown in the hat each push down on one of your shoulders.
Motherfucker, get down!
You hit the deck. You half expect the blood splatters to seep through your dress, but it just crust flaky and dry underneath your knees.
You, sister, that you your alien?
Where the hell is that voice coming from? It's deep and gravelly and probably male. Oh, hold up. What you initially thought was one of Remley's knockoff paintings hanging behind the altar turns out to be a screen, which is now turned into a grey silhouette with horns. Is everybody here bowing to some dude who literally Skyped into Clown Church and doesn't even have a user pic?
Your Excellency.
I wouldn't describe him as my alien exactly. A little too pathetic to really put much bother to. There's a murmur of agreement from the surrounding trolls. Dang, tough crowd. A long snort of breath crackles into static.
Who are you to say what or who is pathetic?
Chahut winces. You're all feckless wigglers, without a bean in your think tanks. All the lowbloods in here look absolutely terrified, which is nothing new. But for once, they aren't the only ones. Everyone here is afraid, the purple guys included. You, come closer, little heretic. Let me get a gander.
Me? Who?
What the fuck you mean, who, sister? Motherfucker, I'm jabbing my point stomp at. You and Chahut stare a quick, nervous glance. Her throat blobs visibly.
Sir? I think you got your webcam turned off.
Oh, dang, hold up. You hear a lot of rustling and swearing. All of you hang in the awkward limbo of an old person struggling with technology. The screen flickers, and you can just make out a pair of hulking shoulders. Just make out a pair of hulking shoulders. Sir, you've got the light behind you. Never mind the light, motherfucker. You, the hornless one, and the rumpus rod. Come closer, child. Oh, you. Of course it's you. Being the main character is exhausting. You move closer to the altar, although you aren't actually sure where the camera is. This guy is someone. You'd be able to tell that even if everyone in here wasn't bowing to him. His voice has a certain quality to it. That's close enough. I'm not trying to look up your sniff note. Child, you got any notion as to who I fucking am? None, except that he's possibly important. Always a real good time when important people get interested in your insignificant ass. I decide whose ass is insignificant in this house. You comprehend? Sure. Sir. Excellency? How long have you been rambling amongst my brethren? At least a couple weeks? No more than a month. How many are here with you? Just you. An alien invasion force of one, all just wandering the countryside. Still pulling an oxygen? We thought someone would have picked their dentition with you by now. Same. You got any muscle definition, Wriggler? You show him the gun show. As in, you show him how very empty the weapons locker is. Too weak for the front lines. Too ugly to fill a pail with. He laughs, low and lecherous. Although your strut sticks ain't so bad. Oh. Did a giant clown just say that you have nice legs over troll FaceTime? You look at Chahut for help, but she's too busy checking out your gams. Sober you might have been uncomfortable. Fago drunk you is pretty zen about it. You're sure it's only a matter of time before you fuck an alien. If it's gotta be a big giant clown, well, so be it. Shooting high, aren't you? Now you just feel silly. You assure this guy that you aren't really after that kind of stuff. There's only one thing you really, truly long for in this world. What's that, child? Power? Wealth? The right to keep living? Yikes. You realize that everyone in this goddamn church is looking at you, waiting for your answer. Chahut looks like she wants to grab your shoulders and shake you. Jeez, no pressure. Friendship, you tell him. He laughs long and hearty at that one. You weather it stoically. You, bigger and significantly more attractive motherfucker. Chahut comes to attention. What's your caste name, child? Maenad, Excellency. If I understand rightly, you're about to undergo the ordeals? Chahut nods. She looks a little seasick. You're not sure what the ordeals are, but everything about them sounds bad, including the name. Maybe get your shit shot with this one right here. They seem to have the strategy for surviving against all reasonable odds and decency. You could probably use a friend like them. He jabs another big finger at you. And Wriggler? Yeah? Don't let me see your face again. The call disconnects, and the screen goes blank. When you point yourself towards the front of the church, everyone scrambles to get out of your way. Like the big clown's attention has conveyed some honorary status on you. Probably no one will mess with you for, half hour at least. You aren't really going anywhere. You just need some fresh air before you pass out. Chahut emerges soon after. She looks nearly as winded as you feel. You ask her if she's mad at you, since that could be potentially dangerous to both your life and your burgeoning friendship. Mad? Why would I be mad? Because your inexplicably magnetic charm worked on both my best girl and the figurehead of my church? You flush. The real question is, did it work on her? Chahut sighs. What the hell? Old motherfucker told me to listen to whatever it is you can teach. Right. He did. That basically makes the two of you friends by theocratic decree. Guess so. So, darling, teach me your ways. Well, first of all, you gotta fall down, Locke. Oh. Alright. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. We'll see y'all again on Monday. Y'all have a great day out there.